Hey everyone, I'm Tori the Crafty Girl, and today I'm going to share with you how I made this top using a circular knitting machine. Can you believe I made this top for less than $8? I know, so crazy, right? Well, I recently found this gorgeous cotton blend yarn at Salvage, which is an amazing secondhand craft store here in Spokane, Washington. And y'all know I love to shop secondhand and thrift for almost everything. There's just something magical about the thrill of the hunt, and I'm always surprised and inspired by what I find, like this yarn right here. For this design, I used the Addi 46-pin circular knitting machine on panel setting with 32 pins. The number of pins for this design dictates the length of the top. For this yarn and my tension, the total length is 10 inches before I added the additional crochet edging. The width of the top correlates to the number of rows. In this case, I knit a total of 120 rows with a color change at every 10 rows. That gave it the striped look. That gave me a total measurement of around 30 inches before I added the crochet for the lace-up detail. You can easily make this wider by knitting more rows. To start the project, I cast on with a few rows of waste yarn and then added the first color. I knit 10 rows and then switched to the second color. I repeated that process for every 10 rows until I got to 120. To keep track of my rows, I did use the built-in row counter, but as you may know, it doesn't track the rows for panels unless you're using all of the pins. But it will count every time you knit back to the black pins. So with that in mind, I just doubled the number as I went along. So when I got to 60 on the counter, I knew I was actually at 120. I also primarily use measuring as my guidelines when making wearables since it's more accurate. Now, working with cotton yarn in the circular knitting machine can be a bit of a challenge, so I used my clip weights, which made a huge difference. Those and other tools that I use, by the way, are linked in the description under my Amazon tools. Then I cast off with a little bit more waste yarn and then gave it a really good stretch before I finished the ends. So I did use a single crochet method on both of the ends. And by ends, I'm talking about the sides that will be the lace up. And you can lace this up in the front or the back. So again, I just did a single crochet on both of those with matching yarn. And then I removed the waste yarn. Then another important step that I really recommend is blocking your pieces, steam blocking, wet blocking, but it really helps when you're working with panels, especially with circular knitting machines. And I will link some helpful videos again down in the description if you are interested in learning more. Now for the ends, so the sides that are going to be like the top and the bottom of the top, you could just leave them like this if you're comfortable with it. It doesn't look so bad, but it really depends on how your stitches turned out with your panels. I'm pretty diligent with my panels, so it's pretty consistent down the line, but you can see even with my diligence, you'll still have a little bit longer stitches every now and then. So after steaming, it could be fine. It is still going to curl a little bit. So what you can do is you can add another row of single crochet, and that's what I've started to do here. So essentially, I'm just following this one row up here, and then I'm single crocheting in every perceived stitch because it is going a different direction. So for example, I'll show you here. Point out where the stitches are. So the most important thing is to make sure you're stitching in the same line across. So here is my row. Okay, so I'm going to stitch in here. I'm going to do a single crochet. I'm going to come over here, do a single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, etc. And I'm just going to go down this entire line, and then that will give us this nice clean finish here to the top. It'll prevent curling and also gives it a little bit more stability. So for me, this is going to be great for the top of the top. And then the bottom, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I will either add additional additional fringe. I don't think with this style, the fringe is going to be the look I'm going for. So I may just do a crochet finish to that as well. So we'll see as she comes along. And to finish it off, I did end up coming back and doing a little crochet finishing to the bottom. This pattern right here, if you do crochet, I did 3 single crochet around, and then I came back around and did 2 half double crochet in each of those stitches. And that gave it this really adorable kind of lettuce look that I actually mirrored up here on the straps as well. So the straps are crochet, and I did the same thing. I did 3 rows of single crochet, came back in, did 2 half double crochet in each one, and then I finished with another round of half double crochet in the contrasting color. And again, these look stinking adorable. Love them. And then the last thing I did for this top, I did create some channels for the drawstring to weave through. You don't have to do that because this is knit. You could, if you weren't comfortable with crochet, you could just take your little drawstring and weave it through yourself. You could also just stitch it together if you didn't want to have a lace up top. So many ways to customize this. And then I had to make a flower because pretty much everything I do has a flower. This is just a little removable flower, but I did use that same yarn. So that is the newest top that I made using the same design that I've been working with. So this one right here, super cute, precious, a totally different look than this one here, but the concept is still very much the same. This one I actually just fallen down a little bit. This one I made with scrap yarn, and this one was a little bit of a different process because I did use all of the pins, so it's a little bit longer, and then I came back around and added some fringe at the bottom. So this one, very similar, but there are so many ways that you can customize this design to fit a number of different sizes and a number of different looks and aesthetics. So let me know what you think. If you make it, don't forget to tag me. Also, if you're looking for more project tutorials that go into a little bit more detail, you will find the knitting machine projects playlist here on my channel. Until next time, everybody, see ya!